Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And the Konosuba collab is live. The first banner is up with Megumin and Megmaru, or Rimurine, whatever you want to call him. Rimuru in a Megumin outfit. And the units are pretty good. Pretty good. They're very generic units that you can use in this meta and also in other places once this meta is over. So I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out so far. But first, I want to go over just a few things. Let me go to Twitter real fast, because I do want to do... let's see, I gotta find it first. But... we're going to go right into the shop, actually. So, Magic Crystal Shop, Pack Shop. So, they do have the normal packs, right, for the 2 tickets and the 5 tickets. But they also had 2 other packs, one of which was a 10% ticket, like we would normally get for an EX meta, and you would have a 10% chance to pull Rimuru or Megumin off that ticket. And that goes about as well as you normally think it does. 10%'s not really that good. However, there was another pack, and if we go into the news, we can actually see it is not a 10%, but a 30% EX ticket pack. So 5-star EX rate, 30% guaranteed 5-star ticket. So you have a 30% chance to get Megumin or Rimuru by buying this ticket. Now, it's an expensive pack, right? This is only for people who are inclined to spend. It's $80, you get 1,000 crystals plus one 30% ticket. But you can buy it 3 times. And 30% is a whole lot better than 0.7% chance, right? Than for, doing normal multis, ticket multis, crystal multis. And it's also better than 10%. So if you are inclined to spend money, you probably should pick up the 30% ticket, because I personally, spoiler alert if you didn't watch a stream, I got 2 Megumins off those 3 tickets, right? That's really good, right? I've spent a lot more money for less dupes of an EX character. So, I think it's pretty good. One thing to note is that you cannot get EX Wind Shizu from the World of Fantasy. She is on the banner as a featured unit, because she is on the Adventurer tag. But you cannot get her. She is not included in this extra 30% rate. So it is just Megumin and just Rimuru that's included there. So that's for if you're inclined to spend. Now, if you have the monthly pass, Koban, you could use your Koban coins on this banner right here. I have used half of my Koban, right? So I did 2 Koban multis because I'm expecting the next banner to have both Aqua and Cosmo, so I wanted to split 2 multis from Koban on this banner and 2 from that banner. We will have the normal 2 multis we get from the milestone rewards, and then the shop for the actual event. So there's 10 tickets right here. There's 10 tickets in the milestone. So everyone at minimum should get 2 multis for free. But also, there is this right here. So they have this 10 tickets right here for the collab. And if we go to the JP version, like, it also shows kind of the same thing. 10 tickets for retweets. And I don't know, right? 10 tickets right here. The fact that this image right here says the Part 1 banner would make me think that these tickets are for this Part 1 banner. Now, whether or not that's true, we've yet to find out, because we haven't received these yet. So, everyone should have at least 2 free multis, with a potential 3rd multi. Potential. It's like a 50-50 chance that we get these as the Konosuba banner, or just normal, like, recruit tickets, and they're just kind of sad. But, that is going over all of, like, the ways to get the summons on this banner. Let's actually talk about the units and what they do, and if they are worth it. Also forgot to mention that the banner has the Adventurer category forces on it as well. So we've got Shizu, the Fresh-Faced Adventurer, which is the EX Shizu from the World of Fantasy meta. So that's the first time we've seen an EX unit on on a side banner as a featured unit that's not like a dedicated rerun like the Fount of Wisdom banner that's up. So, I mean, she's a decent pull if you get her. Shizu, the Gift of Desire, is Christmas Shizu, which will work really well with this Megumin because she's the fire attack buffer. Also, she got a skill revamp. Shizu, the Date Night Beauty, is Light Shizu, the healer, who also got a skill revamp. And then the Conqueror of Flame Shizu is like the OG Fire Shizu from the start of the game. So they are also featured here. So Fresh Face Adventure, EX Shizu, Christmas Shizu, Light Shizu, and then OG Shizu. So it's a whole bunch of Shizus alongside Megumin and Rimuru. So let's check out their skills. So Fire Shizu's skill revamp, she gets fire resistance down on all targets by 20, which goes up to 30% at level 10 of the skill fusion, which will definitely help out Megumin even more, right? Because we're already going to get the 50% fire attack. Another 30% down will just help her hit harder. And then Light Shizu, not as good. Like, she's a healer, right? So you not really expect much out of her, but her nerf skill, where she nerfs an enemy attack by 15%, it starts now at 20%, but also gives you a 70% chance to guard, which goes up to 80%. So not really that good, especially considering that you need to have her at level 100 alongside this Fire Shizu. It needs to be at level 100. And mine is only 88, so I'm going to try and debate whether or not I want to shard her up or not. Because it's not like she's not useful, because Violet and Belzard are also a thing. So we'll see how it goes. But I just wanted to include that because I forgot to talk about it in the original recording. So back to whatever I was talking about. So Megumin is Fire, Magic on the new Adventurer tag, Wielder of Magic, and Hyper Heart. She uses a hammer, of which you can get her gear for free in the beatdown battle in the first 4 difficulties. So you don't have to make a hammer for her, you don't have to make a jacket. The gear you get is a 6-star jacket. There's 4 stages in the beginning. Each of them drops it. So if we go to this, you go to Beatdown Battle, we can see that we get a staff, a jacket, and a jacket. So then all you need to do is, reforge 2 of one each, and then awaken it using the normal flames, and then you have gear, right? We're getting free gear for all of the collab units, which is really cool. But going back into what Megumin does, she is essentially EX Guy, but with small differences. So Megumin is a single target fire alt. She has a higher base multiplier, so it starts at 510, and then when you get her to 120, it's 530%, while Guy is 510% maxed out at 120. So she's already going to hit harder than Guy does. And then her first skill is an 80% alt damage buff, just like Guy. But instead of then giving crits to all physical allies like Guy does, right here, she gives herself her own 25% magic attack buff for 1 turn. So that makes her a better nuker, a better single target nuker than Guy. Because while Guy has the crits, the magic attack 25% is just slightly better than just critting by itself. Now you can add a whole bunch of other modifiers to Guy and he'll hit hard, right? But you can also add a bunch of modifiers to Megumin and she'll hit hard. But this makes her a very good, self-sufficient, single-target damage dealer. Her second skill is like Guy, except that instead of changing 2 greens and 1 orange like Guy does, so 2 greens, 1 orange, into 3 blues, Megumin is changing 2 oranges and 1 green to 3 blues. So they are almost, like 95%, the same unit. And that's good, because Guy is a good unit. That's why I wanted to get him to 120, because she's a fantastic general-purpose unit, alongside being a really strong single-target damage dealer. Megumin is a really good general-purpose damage dealer, who happens to have technically a slightly stronger ult and nuke because of her inherent stat and this, and then having a higher multiplier on her ult. But she can be used on multiple teams as an orb changer, as an alt buffer. The fact that she gives herself a magic attack is kind of meh if you're not really planning to nuke with her. If you're using, you know, like, what am I calling it? Like the Light 3.0 team. Like, we normally used Shuna for that, who gave us a 70% alt buff and the 2 orange to blue orb change. Megumin's giving 80%, and she's giving the 2 orange and 1 green orb change. And the other third part of Shuna's skill was water resistance down, which didn't matter because we were nuking with a light unit. So the fact that she has this magic attack, if she's not the primary damage dealer, doesn't really matter either. So I think she's a very good unit based on that skill set. Her Valor trait, when you send 2 orbs, you nerf the blue gauge increase on the enemy team. It's not really that good, especially considering that right now the Valor Cup is focused on green orbs. So it's pretty meh. Not a great Valor trait. Her actual trait, when your troop contains 3 or more battle characters, you get extra protection gauge every 2 turns. That is a good trait. So you bring her up front, and she will, if you send a full 6 mana blues and you have like the full protection trio as supports, you will get 2 full gauges from that. And that's really good. That'll help you start stacking faster, help you get more points faster. When she gets to 120, you get an extra 20% on the alt damage, so that will bring it up to 530%, so 20% more than Guy at level 120. And then she gets extra pierce power when darkness is in the battle, and then she is a self-buffing unit. So she is a very, very good generic unit. Will be really, really good in this meta because she's the primary DPS. So you're gonna nuke with her, and then when this meta goes away, you're still gonna probably use her on a number of teams that are blue focused that need an alt buffer, like the Light 3.0 team. Maybe not the Fount of Wisdom team, but you could put her in there. Like, I don't see why you couldn't. It's just that Hinata is already giving herself a 40% alt buff, so you're kind of doubling up on it. You could do it. I mean, you could. There's no reason you can't, but I feel like it's better suited for a different unit to go in there for that 5th slot. So I think Megumin is a really, really good pickup for a lot of players. Not just older players who want the meta, but even newer players who need a strong unit to orb change for you, to buff your alt damage. She's going to do both, and she's going to cost a lot, sure, but she can do it fairly well. And then moving on to the Protector Rimuru, we do get a free dupe of him from this event when it pops up. This campaign quest. You get 100 crystals for free, and you get a free dupe of Rimuru. Now, please note that you must pull Rimuru first before you can use the dupe. This does not get you a free copy of Rimuru right off the bat. It only gets you a dupe. So if you don't have Rimuru and you get this dupe, it's just going to sit there until you pull him. So keep that in mind. But we do get a free dupe of him, which is nice, which saves me some money and some crystals. And you know what? He's actually a pretty good protector, too. So Rimuru is giving adventurer characters an extra 60% damage to earth enemies, and then Shizu's will characters and adventurer characters get the attack and defense plus 20%. They buffed the Shizu's will category. The adventurer force is new, but his protection skill is he stacks alt damage by 20% forever. And that right there is really good, because not only is it helping you do extra damage, you don't need the units up front, right? So for like Shuna, or Milim, or Veldora, you need the nuker to be up front to get those stacks, and then you can send them away. With Rimuru, like Diablo, EX Diablo, you could have the units in the back forever, and they will still benefit from those 20, 40, 60, 80% extra alt gauge that you're getting, because it's affecting the orb, not the character. So that makes him really, really good. One thing that is unfortunate, though, is that because this is a permanent alt buff, it does not go well with Dark Valentine and her stacking percentage. So if we go down to Dark Val and go to her skill, she increases your alt damage up until the end of battle by 20% to a cap of 80. So, because Rimuru is also stacking 20, 40, 60, 80, Valentine caps out at 80. As soon as you go over that 80%, her skill does not exist anymore, right? So if you've done 4 stacks of Valentine and 4 stacks of Rimuru, it's not suddenly 8 stacks, it's still 4 stacks. Because it's the same amount, and this caps at 80, and then you stop. So that is something to note. Dark Valentine will not be used at all in this meta unless you're using her for a link for extra protection gauge, of which there's better characters for that. But Rimuru's permanent alt buff stacks will go with Megumin's 80%, so you get 80 and 80 and you get 106 right there, because one is permanent and one is temporary. So that's also something to keep in mind, so avoid using Dark Valentine for this meta. He's also raising your cap for skill points by 40, pretty standard. That makes him better than Diablo, because Diablo raises it by 30. And then he's increasing your skill points on blues by 100 up to 500%, which is the same as every other blue protector in this game, essentially. So, Rimuru, because he's buffing alt damage, you don't need anyone special to proc that. You don't need someone to have Pierce or Stun. You don't need to bring a water unit or a space unit or, whatever. You can just buff alt damage across the board. If you want to nuke with Shuna, like Light Shuna, you can nuke with Light Shuna. If you want to nuke with Dark Milim, you can nuke with Dark Milim. Anybody will benefit from this 20% extra stuff right here. And that is why Rimuru is a really, really good generic protector. And I think that the banner as a whole right now is actually a good banner to summon on, especially if you don't have a good stacking team. They're very good. They'll have a lot of use outside of this meta as well. He can lead pretty much anybody, because again, the alt buff does not discriminate. And then Megumin can support multiple blue focused teams and give people ults, or just be the nuker. So for people who are on the fence, like, hey, do I need this? Do you have a good blue stacking team? Yes? Maybe you can skip then. If you don't have a good blue stacking team, I would suggest summoning on this meta. I would, because they're both fantastic units. If you're still on the fence, you can definitely wait until next week to see if we get the Cosma and Aqua, see if they're a double banner, and then see if you like what they do. I mean, Rimuru is a protector, and that's a lot of value right there. So I would still probably suggest summoning on this banner. But overall, I would grade this banner like a 9 out of 10. It's a really good banner. It has a lot of value, and they will be relevant for a while. So that's my overview. Should you summon? Mostly yes. Only no if you already have a whole bunch of blue teams and you don't really care about Konosuba and you don't really care about another blue stacking team. I get that. We've had a lot of them. But overall, high marks for this banner. So if you went and summoned already, let me know how your summons went in the comments below. This video is kind of long, but I wanted to go over a few different things. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.